Peg Burns, Gospel Nonviolence Curriculum Materials, Our Golden Thread. I have to say that this material is not yet on the website. If you contact me, that information is available on the website. I can email you everything you need except the large map. The large map you would have to make, but I can give a little bit of guidance on that. But everything else is printable and easily made. And we like this material because it is so hopeful for people to see with clarity the early church teaching. So this is early church writers and theologians, as well as documents that are called church orders or from synods. And this material is based completely on the book of Ronald Sider, The Early Church on Killing. So we'll call this material The Early Church on Killing. It deals with war, abortion, and capital punishment. So one of the things that the student can do is simply take out a tile that has the name of a theologian or writer and put it by date. You see the date on the side and you see a location. So you can put it out by date just near the map and order them by date. This is Cyprian. He was 202, or a little bit after Origen, who was born in 185. Tatian was born in 110. 170, Minucius Felix. 170, yeah, a little like that. So I will leave it at that. You'll spend as much time with that as well. This upper level is in order by date, to give the idea that that's one way to use the material. These others are just available for us now. They'll be on the camera. We're going to do this so that the adult gets the idea of how to use it. So we're going to put this first row in place on the map. Tatian was in Syria. Minucius Felix was in Rome. Tertullian was in Carthage. Origen was in Alexandria. Cyprian, also from Carthage, different time frame. Well, a little bit of overlap in time frame. St. Gregory Thermaticus was in Turkey. So what we're trying to do is learn people who lived prior to Constantine and spoke the truth about Jesus' nonviolent way. Then we're going to look at some of the content of their sayings. So these are plaques that have a sentence or two. So Gregory Thermaticus said, "As for those who have been enrolled among the barbarians and followed after them as prisoners, forgetting that they were Christians, you must debar them even from the ranks of hearers." So ranks of hearers was kind of a category of catechumenate or people entering into the church, and he's saying that they have to take a step back because they're not living the way they should be living. Let's see if we can find Origen. On the card, on the plaque here, there's dates, location, a little bit of a handle. Origen would be considered a brilliant biblical scholar, and his writing was against Celsus. As to those who inquire of us whence we come or who is our founder, we reply that we come agreeably to the counsels of Jesus, to cut down our hostile and insolent wordy swords, into plowshares, and to convert into pruning hooks the spears formerly employed in war. For we no longer take up sword against nation, nor do we learn war anymore, having become children of peace for the sake of Jesus, who is our leader. So Origen is in Alexandria. If the student is doing all of these, they can just randomly pick and put them out there. Just in order. Tatian, from Address to the Greeks, which is on there. I do not wish to be a king. I am not anxious to be rich. I decline military commands. Minucius Felix said, "To us it is not lawful either to see or to hear of human slaughter, and so much do we shrink from human blood that we do not use blood even of eatable animals in our food." Tertullian on idolatry. Standard, translated from Latin sacramentum, for the Christian meant Eucharist, but to a soldier it meant the oath of unconditional allegiance sworn to the emperor at enlistment. Okay, so there is no agreement between the divine and the human sacrament. And the standard of Christ and the standard of the devil, the camp of light and the camp of darkness. One soul cannot be due to two masters, God and Caesar. But how will a Christian man war? Nay, how will he serve even in peace without a sword, which the Lord has taken away? For albeit soldiers had come unto John and had received the formula of their rule, albeit likewise a centurion believed, still the Lord afterward, in disarming Peter, unbelted every soldier. Saint Cyprian's comment is, "The world is soaked with mutual blood, and when individuals commit homicide, it is a crime. It is called a virtue when it is done in the name of the state. Impunity is acquired for crimes not by reason of innocence, but by the magnitude of the cruelty." So you can see with these that there will be needing an important discussion with the adult about what's being said. Sometimes it's very clear, like Tatian's, "I do not wish to be a king. I'm not anxious to be rich. I decline military commands." Very clear. Others are a little bit more difficult. What's impunity? Well, impunity is when we somehow get freed of the guilt of our crime. So when it's an individual, you never get free of the crime. Individual murder, you never get free of the crime. But he's saying, but the magnitude, when it's a big group doing it, somehow it's now called acceptable or good or important. So this is the way we can work with these materials. We do have a geographic answer chart so that we can learn most of us don't know where Mesopotamia is and Syria and Turkey and some of these places. So this just helps with that location piece. And once you have that, you can pop it into the location easily, the plaques. So these are the individual writers and theologians. And now we'll turn to the materials from this side, which is the synods and church orders.